Alright, so today we're going to talk about isometric drawings. This is chapter 2 in book 2. Chapter 1 basically was covered in book 1 also, so that tells about AutoCAD and how to use it and how to set things up, so you're welcome to review that information. However, for this lecture we're going to jump right into the chapter 2, the isometric drawings and how they work. So when we do an isometric drawing, basically what we're creating is we're creating kind of a halfway between a 2D geometry and a 3D drawing. It is not a true 3D drawing. Isometric drawings are set on kind of a different axis. The angle between each of these X, Y, and Z axis is 120 degrees. So basically we're going to draw up and down, or we're going to draw at one of these angles. When we look at our isoplane, this is considered the left isoplane, this is the right isoplane, and this is the top. If you are or have taken any other CAD classes, we can think of this as our front, our right side, and our top. So we can look at it that way also. So the first things we want to do is we want to set up our computer or set up our screen so that it will work the way we want it to work. So you'll see my cursor's back to the white cursor. So we're going to come down here to the bottom of the screen and you'll see the ISO draft or isometric drafting. We're going to turn that on and you'll see it will highlight in blue and my cursor will turn red and green. If we arrow down next to that, notice there's the 3 different positions that we can use to change the direction of it. So if I pick the left, it goes that way. If I pick the top, it's laying down here on the top. And if I pick the right, it's laying in this plane here. The other way we can switch that is by using the F5 key on our keyboard, and it will flip that direction. And notice as I'm flipping the direction over here on our command line, it's actually showing up and telling us which direction it's in there also. The other thing that we want to have turned on is our ortho mode. So we always want to have that turned on. And the reason we want that turned on is if it's not turned on, notice when I go to draw a line, I'm not locked in to one of these axis angles. When it is turned on, notice I'm locked in and can only draw lines in specific directions. You're welcome. The other thing you need to have on, which we should have on all the time anyway, is our O-snaps. You're welcome to turn the grid and the grid snap on, which are these two right here. However, I don't use those. It's really a personal preference. So when we're drawing in that isometric mode, there are several commands that cannot be used and a few that we can use. So those that we cannot use, anything where we're going to draw a curve or a circle, we cannot use because they're all geared for working on this flat plane. So our fillet doesn't work, the circle doesn't work, the arc doesn't work, our arrays aren't going to work, the polygon's not going to work. Anything where we're going to use a line to determine either with the offset, we're using a line to offset, it's going to go along this flat plane that we're looking at on our screen. It's not going to go along this plane or work along this plane. So that eliminates our offset, our mirror, the array, the polygon, the rotate. We also are not going to use a line drawing the distance and the angle either. So what does that leave us to use? That leaves us the line command, copy command, the move command, the ellipse. So this is where we're really going to use that ellipse command, but we're not drawing an ellipse per se. When we go in the ellipse command, we're going to have this option to create an iso circle. So we're going to choose that iso circle option to create our circles and rounded features. And again, I've already talked about the F5 key, and that allows me to flip that cursor, as well as coming down here to our ISO draft and choosing one of these to flip that cursor also.